Hello everyone, we will continue the topic Web Dynpro ABAP and we are covering the input help modes for a context attribute. We finished with automatic, we finished with dictionary search help. After that, OVS is already covered, yes. Then after that, we simply covered deactivated. And now we are covering freely programmed, and one of the most important and the best part is we need to follow some set of static steps. What is freely programmed? In case of freely programmed, one Pro component is acting as a input help to the field of another Pro component. And as a part of that, we took the requirement, and as a part of that requirement, we performed with first two steps. So what we did, whatever the Pro component you want to use as a input help, so to another Pro component, so you need to implement this particular interface. So we added this particular interface and we implemented. Once you implemented, we are able to see one extra window. What is the name of the window? WD underscore value underscore help. And have you seen SAP is following the proper naming conventions? Interface, SAP use the word I at the starting. Now this is the window, WD underscore value underscore help. Now we will move on to our third step. What is our third step? You need to embed the view into this particular window so that this view will be displayed as a search help once you do F4. This is again extremely important point. You all know. What is window? Window is a container for the view. Suppose if I will show you this Pro component, if I will go for the main view, this main view, this particular view, whatever we designed onto this particular view, I'll just wait for it to display. Whatever the view, whatever the layout we designed onto this particular view, it will display whenever we will click F4 button into another Pro component, to the field of another Pro component. I'll just repeat. This particular view of this particular Pro component will display whenever we will do F4 onto the field of another Pro component. This particular view we want to display. It means we need to embed this view into this particular window, whatever the window SAP provided automatically. Suppose if I will go for this particular window, which SAP provided automatically, I will simply go for embed view and I will embed the main view. Why I am embedding the main view? Because this view itself we want to display in another Pro component. Now I will simply select main. I will go for OK. And I will activate this Pro component. So for the first Pro component, all three steps are done. What is the first step? We simply implemented this particular interface. We simply implemented this particular interface. After that, one window appeared automatically, and whatever the view you want to display in another Pro component, you simply embedded into this particular window. So first Pro component part is over. Now we will move on to our another Pro component, because ultimately we need to use this into another Pro component. Now I will come on to another Pro component. This is our another Pro component. Now we will go for fourth and fifth step. Fourth and fifth step, you can easily understand. if you have knowledge of component usage. Now, we want to use this component into this component. Yes. So how we will use? I will simply double click onto this component. Now, in the used component tab, I will provide the name of the first component. So I will give some name. Suppose I am saying input underscore help, and this is our first component. This is the way during your OVS topic, ALV topic, select option, we did same thing. How one Pro component can be used in another Pro component. We need to simply click onto the component, go to used component tab, give some name and give the name of the component. Now I will come on to component controller. I'll show you why I'm coming on to component controller. Now, in the component controller context, node sales, you have this attribute. It means we need to simply add this, whatever the component is this, we need to add at the component controller level because our attribute is in the context of this particular component controller. So how I will add? I will go to the properties. I will go for this particular button, create controller usage. And I'm adding at the component controller level. This simple. Firstly, you added at the component level. Now you are adding at the component controller level. Why component controller? Because our attribute, whatever the attribute we want to go for freely programmed, it is in the context of this particular component controller. Now I will go to context. It's very easy now. This is our attribute. Now, rather than deactivated, what we need to choose? We need to choose freely programmed. I will go for save and it will automatically show you. We just need to choose. Now, if I will show you this, now you can see we are automatically getting input help component usage name. If you remember, in case of automatic, it is determined input help. In case of your dictionary search help, it is dictionary search help. In case of OVS, it is object value selector. Now, in case of freely programmed, it is input help component usage. Now I will use. Just click here, it will show you. You can see name is coming automatically, input underscore help. You can choose, I'll just pass manually. Sometimes it is not taking. I will go for save. I will check the syntax and I will activate. So if I'm coming on to third, fourth, and fifth step, all 5 steps are done. So third step, we did as a part of first Pro component, we simply embedded the main view into this component, into this window, sorry. Now into the second component, into second Pro component, we performed fourth and fifth step. We simply added the first Pro component into another Pro component by using which particular tab? Used component tab. Then after that, we went to the attribute. We choose the option freely programmed and we simply pass the component usage into which particular property? Input help component usage. Now I will run and we will get a expected result. If I'm running this Pro application, now you can see we are getting a input help button. If I will click, now it is calling yes, first Pro component. This is our view of first Pro component. I will go for input, submit, everything is most extremely important. So what is the summary of this particular video? In this video, we finished with the remaining steps of freely programmed one of the most important input help mode. So these 5 static steps you need to perform. So you have 2 components. In the first component, you need to perform 3 steps. Implement this interface. This particular window will automatically come, and whatever the view you want to display in another Pro component, just embed that particular view into this particular window. Now go to second Pro component. Use first Pro component into this second Pro component. Just add this first Pro component into second Pro component. After that, just check where your attribute is. If the attribute is directly at the view level, you can add at the view level. In our case, it is at the component controller. So we added the controller usage at the component controller level. After that, go to the attribute, choose freely programmed, and pass the name of the component usage. So this is our full topic about what are the various input help modes for the context activity. So that's it in this video. Thank you.